Hi there, Steve Kaufman here, and today I want to talk about ChatGPT again in a little more detail. I've done a bit of research. I looked up, what some people are saying about how to use it for different purposes, including language learning. I may forget some of these things as I go through this, but what I thought I would do is actually have you share my screen as I go to ChatGPT and attempt to have it perform different tasks or activities for me. Remember that when it comes to language learning, everything comes down to your attitude, that is the attitude of the learner, the amount of time you spend, and of course how efficiently that time is spent with the language, and then things that you're able to notice in the language. And your ability to notice, as I've said before, increases if you have a positive attitude, if you want to notice, and with more time spent with the language, you inevitably notice more and more things. So if ChatGPT is going to help us, it's got to make us more motivated. It's going to make our use of time more efficient. It's going to help us to notice things. That's the way I see it. So essentially in whether learning languages or using languages, and for both, the sort of activities that are available to us are reading, listening, speaking, writing, and then dealing with issues of grammar or correct usage. So how can ChatGPT be used in these various areas? Remember, ChatGPT is text-based. So I don't understand all the technology, but it sort of searches all kinds of text that has been produced over however much time in various languages and is able to generate answers to whatever it is you ask it to do. So it has no audio. However, if you want to use audio, you have to then use another form of artificial intelligence, convert the audio to text. If you want to listen to what ChatGPT generates, again, you have to use another form of artificial intelligence, which is text to speech. But we'll get back to that. We'll get to that later on. So we are now in ChatGPT, hopefully. And I could say to ChatGPT, let's start out now with reading. So I could say, write a story in Italian about traveling in Italy. Okay, see what it does with that. So as you can see, very quickly it produces a story. Now, I don't know how much it's going to give us. We'll see. But it has a lot of good stuff. Dopo Firenze, Maria ha deciso di visitare Venezia, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So once I have the story, I can now import this story into LingQ. And I'll just show you how that works. So I'll go to my Persian page. I'll change the language to Italian. So now this is material that I can use to learn, right? So I go there to import a lesson, and I could call this travel, and I have to pick a course. So for this, I'll just call this quick imports. It doesn't matter. And so that's going to be there. And then here I just copy and paste. I have to go back into there, and I have to copy the story, copy, and come back here, input the text. The text is required. I know that. Bingo. And now I basically, save and generate lesson. So everything is okay. I have no audio file to add. If I had someone record it, I could add the audio file. Save and generate lesson. So I have now created a lesson about traveling in Italy. Let's wait till it's... All right. View lesson. Now, if I wanted to, I could generate the lesson audio. So generate less than audio because there is no audio. But I think a lot of people don't like to listen to stuff in text to speech.
C'era una volta una giovane ragazza di nome Maria che viveva a New York. Fin da quando era piccola, aveva sempre sognato di viaggiare in Italia e visitare tutti i luoghi famosi come Roma, Firenze e Venezia. Finalmente, all'età di 25.
Okay, so you have a story now that you can listen to and study and save words and phrases and so forth and so on. Let's go back here. So now we might say, please, sorry. So that's content. By the way, I won't go through all of this, but one thing that I did try doing, I went to Hamlet by Shakespeare and grabbed a piece of text, and I asked, maybe there's a record of it here, maybe not. I asked ChatGPT to convert it into modern English. And then I imported it into Link, and I turned on the text-to-speech, so I had audio for it, and I could listen to parts of Hamlet in English, but in modern English. So you can take any complex or old text and convert it into modern text. So a big part of I think ChatGPT is helping you create content. For example, let's say that you had an interview coming up in French, a job with a pharmaceutical company. Well, let's do it in English. Let's say, please write a dialogue between a job applicant and potential employer for a pharmaceutical company. Okay? Let's see what happens here. Struggling a bit here. Oh, here we are. Oh, he's still in Italian. Very interesting. So we have an interview now in Italian. I should have specified that this was in English, but it still thinks I'm in Italian. But here you go. You've got a dialogue of a potential, of an interview in Italian between someone looking for a job with a pharmaceutical company and what the employer might say. I think you can also have a dialogue, but I'm not going to do that. But you can actually talk to ChatGPT. I haven't done this. It's not something that I would do. But the thing about language learning and about ChatGPT is that the potential ways of using it are I wouldn't say limitless, but there are many, many ways you can use it. So it's going to depend on your needs, on what you like doing, and so forth. But so obviously ChatGPT is great for generating written content. Personally, I would like to see some way that I could convert podcast material into accurately transcribed, time-stamped transcripts, but that's not something that ChatGPT can do because it has trouble dealing with audio. Okay, so that's reading. Speaking, it doesn't speak. You can't listen unless you use text-to-speech. You can write and have them correct your writing. So again, I'm not going to do that, but you could write something and it will correct it. We won't do that, but you can imagine how that would work, and then you would get a corrected text, which again you could import if you wanted to. But now let's look at sort of what I think is a real opportunity here is in grammar. So you say, can you create a short summary of, let's go to French grammar. Let's see what happens. I have no idea what they're going to say. So you can now get an overview. It doesn't say much, not very useful. Okay. Please explain in French French, how to use French pronouns with examples. I could be dictating this, which is another form of so we get a lot of useful stuff. If you want to sort of focus in on French pronouns, well, and it could be, any other aspect of the language, and so you'll get something. And again, I would always ask for my grammar explanations. It depends where you are. At an early stage in the language, you may want your grammar explanations in English. Read them, learn them, forget them. And at a later stage, you may want them in the target language, and then you can import them and use that as learning material and even attach an audio file to it if you want. Okay, so how about please create 10 sentences in Spanish featuring the subjunctive. So now I'd have to go through these to make sure they're correct. I think they are, but I had the experience when I asked for 10 examples of the instrumental case in Russian that 2 of them were wrong. So, but it doesn't matter. You can have a few mistakes in wrong information. With enough exposure, eventually these things start to click in. So with providing you with grammar explanations, I think ChatGPT is good. The other thing is that it will correct, and it'll even tell you what you said wrong. So if I will go, for example, I don't got much interest in learning English. I thinks it is too tough. Even I learn English, I ain't gonna get a job. How about that? All right. Yeah. Please correct and explain the mistakes. Mistakes, wow, in the following. So there you have it. You can correct mistakes and get some explanations. So that's just a first attempt at using, no, I shouldn't say a first attempt because I've looked at it a little bit before, but in terms of sharing my experience with you, showing you just some of the potential that's there. And I think it's up to every person to choose, figure out how to use it. I think it's great. I think it gets you some of the same results as searching in Google. Obviously, you can Google for, Italian grammar, French verbs, whatever you want. But this is another way of doing it. It's quite fast. You can be more specific in what you ask for. And I think as users become more familiar with the technology, they'll become better and better at getting from ChatGPT what they want. So I hope you found that interesting. I look forward to your comments. Bye for now.